So welcome anybody. Thank you very much for coming. Very warm atmosphere, as I like it. And my name is Sergey. I'm the founder of My Chai International. And today we will drink some aged teas. So today we have a special them for our meeting. It will be teas from China, Taiwan, mostly, and some rare types. I know that maybe some of you are beginners, or some of you are also continuing and have some experience in drinking. It's good. So you can also ask questions. It's not a lecture actually. I'm open to answer any questions about tea culture, China, because I used to live in China for 10 years, like half of a year each year, pretty long time. So I'm try to brew tea at the same time talking, but sometimes I keep more attention on both of the processes. And we will start from tea, because I have also some samples of tea from this year. Maybe we can also start from white Gaba tea. It's made by our own technology. It's not aged, it's fresh, new, but it's good for start, because if we start from our strong aged teas, it will be too much for today. I think we will have around 2 hours and a half of tea ceremony, tea drinking. If you need water, you can ask our staff, for example. Also, anyone must have a cup. You do have some? If someone knows, yeah, Oliver will bring. Also, tea will come to you from this special vessel. It's called chahai or gundaobei. It means little bit chahai. Yeah. All Marius know it's better. Yeah. So yeah, it will come to you. Oliver will assist me. And also, when you have empty bowl, please give it back to Oliver, and it helps us to continue tea drinking and have more tea. Yeah, so it will be white tea. White tea from, this is a special present from our friends in Yunnan County. It's Yunnan province. And you see, I always joking that, for example, samples from Fujian looks like that. But samples from Yunnan province are always like that, or even like that. Why? Because they are closer to Mother Earth. We are living in a border of Myanmar and Burma and Vietnam and Laos, and this whole region is very, very interesting. Also today I want to say that with us my great friend German. He will play some music while you're drinking tea, because I'm not always talking. I also, as I told, I need to be focused on tea brewing also. So while I'm brewing and not talking, German play some beautiful ethnic music. I want to say a few words about German, and maybe if you didn't know that we also have a record label, and we also have released a few interesting releases. One is the music from the region what tea comes from. For this tea is also from Yunnan province, so the same region, also very famous for very authentic music. And German will present it and tell about a little bit more about it. So we start from white tea. And what's the special difference in this tea from regular white teas? It was a little bit fermented in vacuum. So it contains a high amount of Gaba. Gaba means oily acid. And this is very good for mental health, for calmness. It also works as a neuromediator. I don't know, is it right term in English? Neurotransmitter, yes. Sorry, my English is still need to be improved. My Chinese a little bit better, but if I start speak Chinese, I think not so many people understand me today. Yeah. So the first one, this tea was harvested in end of May. Why in the end of May? Because this is a high mountain area, and regularly tea they're harvested much later than everywhere. Because, for example, if you talk about Fujian, 2 months earlier they made white tea, but in Yunnan province, especially in high mountain areas, they make it closer to the summertime.
This is from Taiwan or China?
This is from China, and this is from Yunnan province, the southern part of China, and there is a Yunnan County. Yunnan, it's a very beautiful poetic name. Yun, it's a cloud, and Lun is a dragon. So this county called Cloud Dragon. There is located one village which called Dalishu, and this village has a few very big state factories, but in the end of 80s it slowly becomes more and more private, and in the beginning of millennium it became private tea plantations. And there is one of the biggest manufacturers in China. They have thousands of hectares of tea land, and they also became my very good friends. And they not only focused on mass product, but also make some kind of experiments, because we can invest in that. We have ability to invest. And they make Gaba tea and some experiment with selecting teas with technology and so on. We also have their tea here. We have last bunch of this tea. Last year we have in cakes, white Gaba tea cakes. We have it in stock, but this is this year and it is loose, not cakes. But the technology and process the same. And also we have Gaba shoopware. It's also from this factory, but we will not drink it today. Yeah, we have loose one. Yeah, this is one of the best. White tea is why I also started from it, because it's also very good for summertime, because it's when it's very hot and you can feel more, relaxing effect of it and cooling down, even if you drink it hot. But also you can drink it cold. For cold brew, white tea also perfect. It comes, you can use a regular, my own recipe, easy way, just a bottle of or glass vessel, 2-3 liters or something, put around from 5 to 10 grams in the night in the fridge, and in the morning you have a cold brew. So it's very slowly extracting. It also good to have some experience with that, because oolong tea perfect for this type of brewing, but also sometimes for white teas or our other teas you can maybe put less or make it longer time sometimes, so it's good for summer.
With wine tasting, is there any ritual involved, like in the mouth? Or?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit, but it's as you like, because I can't call it like a really tasting ceremony. It's not ceremony actually, because ceremony needs more attention on brewing, and I need to be more accurate, and when I talk it's difficult to talk in same way, so we just try to make more and more tea come.
For fully appreciating.
Yeah, I give my words to German. Maybe German plays some music, and while I'm prepare next one. Thank you, German. As I told, German is a big lover of Asian, and not only Asian, but Oriental music. And he's multi-instrumentalist, and also have a project called OMFO, with electronic experiments music. Yeah, and later on maybe he introduced himself better than me. I really like that he participate our tea set. This white tea is can be brewed up to 20 times, because high mountain material, and also it's good harvested, have very big potential. So regularly I just stop it on some point just to have some other teas. So I have anyone I hope had it, so we just switch to next one. If someone not familiar with the style I brew the teas, it's a little bit modified traditional Chinese gunfu cha style brewing. And when you use a small teapot or gaiwan, which called like a cup with a special lid, it's also used in Japan for food, and China also, but in the north of China, for fermented teas, mostly use the teapots, and for not fermented, mostly gaiwan. And you put pretty big amount of tea, as you see. It's maybe up to 15 grams. And but I didn't wait while I'm brewing tea. So this way you have a option to make up to 15, up to 20 steeps sometimes. And this way we never make it too strong. We have more, we'll feel more fragrance, more aroma, and come very step by step. You feel it. So this way of consuming it, not only like something ceremonial or for appearance, it also have a practical side. Especially for me, it's mostly practical side.
The white tea, are you putting a boiler inside, or is that a little bit?
It's okay. It's okay to have 100 degrees also, because for green teas maybe more recommended to have a little bit cooler water, up to 80 degrees, especially Japanese teas. But it depends. You know, some masters, they prefer use 80 degrees. I'm often brew 100 degrees because I try in teas, I test in them. And if I choose not ideal way of preparing, I always see very quickly, is this tea have some problems or not. So it's a really good option to quickly understand, is tea okay or not, because this tea really good. Even if you brew it 100 degrees, you will feel that it's okay, and it can be something. Next tea is a pretty special one, wild forest oolong tea. Because anyone, especially who know tea a little bit more, you know that tea trees, big tea trees, mostly located in Yunnan province. But there are also tea trees in other provinces, which is just not promoted good. Especially in Guangxi province, there's a big tea trees, and in Sichuan province, and also in Guangdong province, and also on the border Guangdong and Fujian, there this tea comes from. This is how to say, mother tree of oolong bushes, because originally oolong was also tea tree, and it was also later cultivated, and more it became a part of farm life of Chinese people. It was adapted and changed by selection. But this taste, what you will feel now, you will feel original taste of what oolong was before it was adapted. Because still can be found. This is a tea from Pinhai-Sien. It's a Pinhai County on the border of Guangdong province and Fujian province, and there is some forest still present, but a lot of forests in Fujian province, more than half of its territory. But in this region, we're even much more than in other places in Fujian province. And there are some villages which still make tea from the tea trees, not from the bushes. So we go to the forest harvesting, and the amount is pretty low, and they even didn't have this tea for sale. It's from my personal collection, because when I bought it, it was like 2 kilos and nothing. So they also mostly sell it very expensive, or keep it for themselves, didn't sell. Taste of this tea is also very special. It's a little bit more bitter than any other oolong. As you see, it's also pretty fermented, and it's made by traditional way of preparing oolongs, like from Guangdong province, from like Fenhuan Dancong, it's phoenix oolongs, and also some teas of northern Fujian, like Dahongpao and other Wishan oolongs, also made by the same technology.
This is roasted, then
Yeah.
fermented.
Yeah, it's so
not
that
like a white tea.
no, it's roasted, and it's also fermented, but it's half fermented tea. Then if we talk about oolongs, there's a lot of different It's the biggest group actually of teas in China and also in Taiwan. In other countries now, a lot of oolongs grow, like Vietnam, Thailand. We also have some Thailand oolongs. And this one is special that it was made in very traditional way and without any mass production technology. So it's a farmer product actually. And if we talk about the process, it's around 17 steps. From the beginning, after they just harvested, it's made a kind of withering, just to wait while the leaf becomes like that. Yeah. After that, yeah, comes shaking, kind of shaking, and yeah. No, not separate. Just broke the edge of a leaf. Yeah, it's called in Chinese Hun Bian Lu Yue, green leaf and black or red. Shape, yeah, not shape, but edge, yeah, to start her fermenting, but only not like whole fermenting. Why we didn't make it like immediately rolling? First, we make this shaking, and it's very delicate, so didn't break it too strong. And only after that, we start fermentation process. Sometimes for even more traditional side, they even didn't roll it by machinery, only by hand. But after this shaking comes rolling, and after that again shaking and again rolling, and sometimes it's also not the same on each factory, especially if we talk about small factories and like rural areas, villages, which is not focused on mass production. They often, because sometimes they even did a new technology nice, they need more education, they do it in primitive way. Sometimes they just have their own technology. So if we're talking about exact strict rules, for this tea sometimes doesn't work. But if we talk about technological process, of course, after shaking it comes rolling, and after that it's kind of frying in a machine. After that, drying process. But before the rolling, they also have fermentation. And it's very easy to explain, but also sometimes fermentation, after that again shaking, again fermentation, again shaking, up to 17, sometimes even up to 20 steps. So it's very complicated process, and most complicated process in manufacturing is oolongs, because for white tea you harvest, you dry,
And
that's it, it's ready. You didn't need any machinery, just it's. And why white tea is very,
So it's not fermented either.
yeah, it's not fermented. Sometimes with wine, what we tried, a little bit fermented. We shake it a little bit, and after that some temperature and a little bit fermentation, but very small.
And fermentation, do you use a certain bacteria or fungus? Or
No. It's just natural. It comes from the leaf.
oh, is a enzyme from the.
Yeah. So you didn't need anything. If we talk about special bacteria or fungus, it also can be said about Heicha, which is dark tea from Anhui province, and like Liubao from Guangxi province, and Sichuan Bancha also a kind of tea, and also Anhui Luancha. These types called like dark tea in English or Heicha in Chinese. Why we call it dark, not black? Because it's misconfused about black tea. In the Western world, a lot of people call black tea, but Chinese call it red tea, actually, huncha. But they also have black tea the same way. It's heicha, and it's different type. It's tea bricks or tea wok. Tea wok, and very heavy. Sometimes up to 700 kilos. One of the biggest I see like that. It's it's pressed tea, and it was it's a tradition, and it also was made for big tea rod, so it was transferred and sent by special carriers to Tibet and to Xinjiang, to some other areas from Sichuan, from Sichuan and Yunnan provinces, and Hunan, of course, because Heicha mostly presented in Anhua region in Hunan. Yeah, but they use the fungus. They use fungus which called Aspargatum cristatum in Latin, and it's in Chinese it's Jinhua or they call it like jinhua. It's easily translated by golden flower. So it's beautiful. We have some. Do you have heicha here? I don't know. We have some. Yeah, we can. If you like, you can try. It's very interesting. And this it's kind of malt, but this malt is not contain any kind of harmful things. It's very good for health with a lot of antioxidants, and it's very big health benefits. A lot of researchers, and we even made in Moscow. We made research with Moscow Institute of Food Technology. We made the research for this fungus, and we even now under process of making our own herbal tea with this fungus, because it grows amount of antioxidants in some of willow herb or some other herbs up to 7 times. Yeah, so it's really good health benefit. But for regular teas like these, like oolong, like black tea, there is no any other funguses.
Because the taste almost like red.
Yes, it's a little bit more fermented, but the material is oolong. So this is why, yeah, this is why, because this is a primitive technology, and the farmers didn't know how to do it right way. So sometimes they make it a little bit more fermented, and it must be. For example, you can make actually red tea from oolong tea tree, and often it's pretty tasty also because it have oolong sweetness. And at the same time, a little bit acidity of black tea or red tea, how we call it. Yeah, so maybe it's something in between. For my taste, it also have oolong taste and taste of red tea in the same way. And you see a little bit of bitterness.
Yes.
And this bitterness is a very interesting thing. It's only can be found in the wild grown teas. So it's absolutely impossible to make it artificial way. For example, if you take any cultivated tea bush, it's never have this taste because it's specially cultivated, and while they make these more and more tryouts, they try to remove this taste because Chinese people think that this bitterness is bad for it's not good taste actually, but I like it. I think it's interesting.
So it can be good replacement with the coffee if somebody wants to.
Yeah. If someone who like stronger taste, yeah, it's also. And also this tea can be brewed as any tea actually. You can brew it more stronger, more lighter.
And
it's up to.
This has the caffeine in it or not?
Yeah, of course. Any tea have caffeine. Maybe the first one, white tea, a little bit less, but I think not less, but just in different. It's not in the taste. Actually, you can drink white tea and you feel a lot of energy. As Lisa Marie yesterday, remember we drink white tea, but it was like, yeah, so it was a kind of interesting experience. You drink and you think, oh, very light, or taste, it's so light, and you didn't feel something special, but...
Since in food industry, like soy, rice, corn, GMO is start to grow, and in the tea world is the same way or no?
The same. Pretty same, but a little bit different. But
so there is GMO tea.
Yeah, of course, there's a kind of how to say big industry, and they make like huge amounts of tons of tea because tea is a number second after water consuming drink on the planet.
Yes.
So and of course there's a lot of iced teas which is made from not the tea actually, it's a tea product, and then they cut the crops like that. And these are sticks like that, and they use make it like granules, and after that use it for kind of tea bags or for making all these iced tea bottles and so on. Regularly there's a very low amount of minerals and so on. So it's main problem of this is what the harvesting and the size of crops, because the healthiest contain in the top 2 leaves and 1 bud, or 3 leaves and 1 bud. But when you cut crops like that, it's something absolutely different. And also harvesting time. Often during summertime, tea bush grows very fast, but it didn't get enough amount of minerals and microelements from the soil because it grows very fast. And during this period, most of cheap tea harvested. And also why we value high mountain tea, because where is colder even during the late season were also colder, and the tea grows slow. When the heat takes more from the soil. Yeah, so it's a lot of things which people call not esoteric, but some magic magic benefits. But this also can be explained easily by practical side. Yes, so it's working. This tea also can be brewed like a lot of times. I brewed already next tea. This tea is also came from Yunnan province as the first one, from a very famous tea mountain called Jinmai Shan. Well-known tourist attraction in Yunnan province. And at the same time there are located few villages which has traditionally made tea for up to 1,000 years. And there is one of the biggest in Yunnan province tea forest, how we can call it, because there are just tea trees from 100 years old to 6, even 7. Even there is also some tea trees up to 1,000 years old. This tea was bought in a small village called Venzi, just near the main Jinmai village. It was very funny accident because we just passed through. We didn't plan to buy something, we just filming some trees and so on. And there was some villagers who just sit around and drink some teas, and they find, oh, there is some Vaigorjan or Laowai or foreigner came, call me, and I answer in Chinese, and I say, oh great, you speak Chinese, welcome our tea. It's very useful for any rural people, not only in China. We just came and I asked the question what I ask everywhere and mostly receive reply no. Do you have some Lao Cha? Do you have some aged tea? Just Lao Cha 有没有嘛? 有没有? And they say that maybe I not, but I will ask my friend. And this grandmother called other woman. Did you still have that box of your forgotten old shampoo? And as I understood from the talk, she replied yes, and I said, oh, it costs some money. I said, okay, let you bring it, we will try, if you like, we will buy. And she bring one box like that, 5 kilograms of this shampoo. And it's really, if you drink shampoo before, you will feel completely different taste, because it's not pressed, it's loose leaf tea. And it's around, for that time I bought it was around 10 years old. For now it may be around 16 years, because it's more than 6 years ago. It's not very aged. We have something in up front, more old tea, but it's kind of very unique taste. It have a very fruity noise and very soft. You see, I put a lot. If you put any shampoo in this amount in a teapot, you can't drink it. But this one, you have very delicate taste, even if it's brewed pretty strong.
And this also roasted, or?
It's not roasted. It's just fried and dried in the sun. Shampoo is very easy technology. Also, you just harvest the tea leaves, make it wait for a while, for 1 hour, 2 hours. After that, you roll it a little bit, and after that you fry it. If it's manually, it's on the wok. If it's machinery, it's like a long tube with a spiral inside. Heating and at the same time frying. And after that, leaves dry on the bamboo, some bamboo material, regular just outside on the sunshine. It's called shaiqing. Shaiqing means like drying on the sun. And shaiqing is also technology for most of the products in Yunnan. We make the same way. We make pepper, dry any fruits, anything. Even the tea the same way. So it's very easy process, and with the main difference with the green tea, because the shampoo then is fresh one, it's very similar to green tea. But main difference, green tea actually have a, how to say, final dry on the high temperature. So it's up to 100 even more degrees, dried in special machine, and during the fry and dry in the same machine often. So green tea have a stop fermentation process, which is why green tea after 1-2 years it becomes less aromatic and less tasty and so on. So this is why green tea is also mostly must be consumed fresh.
Yes.
But also there's some green teas which can be aged, but it's also with aging must be at least 40 up to 60 years. It becomes something interesting, but not all of it. But with Shenpur, there is no final step, no final dry. It's dry in the sun and very delicate, so the fermentation process didn't stop. This is why Shenpur constantly changing. And this is why it's also valued aged, because during the aging it became something like that even more. What's more, we will try a little bit later. And this one you see with the color. When it was fresh, the same tea was a yellow or greeny, very with how to say, not notes like that. It's very looks like fresh green tea mostly.
This is more antioxidant, or the green tea is more?
I think green tea is more antioxidant. But about Shenpur, I can say that it's more or less. It must be checked, because it also depends of not only the technological process but the region. Because, for example, if we talk about southern teas, like teas from Yunnan, or if we talk only about China, but also we talk about Vietnam and Thailand or Laos, there is more contain of any macroelements, especially also caffeine, sometimes double more than in the northern cultivars. Because especially when we talk, for example, we just started a tea factory in Georgia, and we have a small factory in Russia also, in Krasnodar region. And this tea is from there because it's one of the northest area of tea growing, which contains much less caffeine. But it contains at the same time a little bit more aromatic essences, so it's because it's colder. And yes, and it grows very slow, so it's very interesting thing. So we can't say which tea is better, it's just very different. But the tea from the regions like southern China, it's much stronger in taste. You can make more steeps regularly.
Factory? Do you mean you buy the tea?
No. We have our own tea factory. We manufacture.
I mean, do you grow it, or?
Yeah, we grow. We have our own 5 hectares, and next year we're planning to take over around 50 hectares, and in Georgia. Because because before I have plans for that in China, but it was a plan for 2020. But in 2020 a lot of plans was changed, and this is why we came to Georgia this year. And first we take over this plantation of 5.5 or up to 6 hectares of land.
I've been there. It's a very nice place, and
It's Georgia.
Water and the soil is great.
Yeah, Georgia is good. Why also? Because soil there is not so how to say so used. Yeah, it was abandoned for 40 years.
Yes.
It was abandoned for 40 years,
Yes.
and there is still some plantations which is completely abandoned. From 30 to 40 years. In our field was also abandoned. We just now need to clean it up for 2 years of work, but we already can take material from other fields because there's a lot of fields. Georgia was pretty big manufacturer, but because of last decade, not even decade, last 20 years of Soviet era, the quality of Georgian tea goes down because of the plan economy. They need only amount of tea, not the quality. And they also cut very big crops. The same what I talk about, the tea for tea bags and so on. The same was in Georgia, even worse. But these crops are suitable for kind of hecha, tea bricks, which called in Russia Kalmyk tea, or in Mongolia it also called kind of Mongolian tea or Middle Asian tea. Also we prepare tea with milk. I think German also know that nice because Tsampa, for this way of consuming and with way of technology, this material, this big crops is good. But so for green tea, for black tea, it's unsuitable. It's not. it's not working. Yeah, so yeah, this is a very interesting story. But now Georgian tea, how to say, have a renaissance. I was on 15 July there. There was just I came back from there. There was a holiday in Guria, special celebration of tea. Tea holiday, how to say. Yeah, they gather all the manufacturers, up to 25 small farmers who represent their teas, and I really
Festival.
yeah, tea festival, kind of festival. They call it also agricultural tourism. They trying to make it more attractive for tourism. We also build a factory on the second floor. We will make for guests. So later on, maybe we can welcome anyone. Georgia is open.
I come because I've been there before. It's beautiful.
Yeah, Georgia is a very beautiful country. I'm a half Georgian, so I can say that. yeah. So this is my second motherland. How to say? My third motherland, because third is Russia, second is China, and third is Georgia. And that Netherlands also will be number 4. Yeah, Amsterdam will be, of course.
And I heard the government support farming in Georgia.
They support. This year it comes a little bit more down, I think, because of a lack of budget or something. But mostly they help a lot in last 5 years. Yeah. And some factories was built, but some factories was built but didn't actually working because they have a problem with sales of tea, as most of producers now, because of Corona crisis and so on. This is why a lot of people would say, "Oh, this year tea will be more expensive." No, this year tea prices will be okay, just because of logistics a little bit, because containers this year a little bit goes down, but now it's still like 12,000, 16,000. It was 8, so at least double pricing. But it becomes a little bit better, and hope till autumn you'll have something. How is the tea for you? How do you feel? Yeah, it's a little bit strong, but I like strong tea. This is only one bad habit. I like strong tea. And it's an interesting thing that regularly Shenpur is pressed cakes, and for this age is very rare you can find loose leaf tea. But if you do the same from the same material, you can press the cakes. It will be completely different taste, because while you press, there is some oils and other which contains in the leaves comes out, and it's changing the way how it's constantly fermenting during the storage. So this is why tea cakes is completely different. Not better, just different. And even some tea lovers and masters say that, oh, tea Shenpur didn't need to be. It must be pressed. It must be compressed by the cake, made by cake. It's you never need to store it by loose. But the main reason why people store it, make it cakes, because of transport. Before it was only needed for big horse road to the Tibet and to the other regions from Yunnan and Hunan provinces. It's very big chain, great tea road of roads, which is go from the mountains and was constructed pretty nice, sometimes even with big stones. And we call it horse road, big tea horse road, not only because the horses carrying the teas, but also because they exchanging the tea for horses. Because mainly in China need horses for war, but Tibet have horses which is pretty small ones and very strong enough to keep warriors on it. So they exchange tea for horse. Yeah, it was for centuries. And also this was a big reason why, one of the big reasons why China didn't conquer Tibet, because they need their these relations for centuries.
Well, it's a good news.
Yeah.
Because I heard they were going to, what they call it, invade it or something like that.
But they were already invaded
They
in
didn't, or
after.
They did already?
We made it in the 50s, I think.
Oh, okay.
But this is a political story. I can't talk about that. I really hate talking about politics. Try to keep as aware as I can from it. How I say, we say, because in Russia, if you talk about politics, you know what you can receive.
I don't know.
It's good to don't know that.
Okay.
Yes, of course. We have a very good joke. Two guys, one is from American, one is from Russia. And American say that, you see, we in America have a freedom of speech. We can say anything. For example, I can go to the Capitolium and say George Bush is a motherfucker. I say, yeah, in Russia we can do the same. I can go to Red Square and say George Bush is a motherfucker. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, it's...
But only about Bush. No
Yeah. We trying to keep it on the philosophical side. When some people shame on me, like, Sergey, you are so well known, you have big audience, if you will fight against you can gather more people. I say, no, you know, my fighting is something else. I changing mindset for the future. And as more we see the people with different kind of priorities, different kind of lifestyle, different interests, and different views, it's brings much more. And I think in this way we can really change something. But it's we need some time for that.
Yes, it's like some people speak out, but in action they support what they should not.
Yes.
But with action, the way you eat, the way you shop.
Main thing we need to change value system and mindset.
Yes.
And priorities. And after that, you didn't see the golden palaces and all other bullshit because normal people didn't need it. They didn't need it. Yeah, sorry for shit talking, but my English is very limited and a bad wording. I don't know more harmful words. Next tea will be my experiment. It's a mix of oolongs, two types of southern Fujian oolongs. One is rogui, and second is dahun pao. Because dahun pao it's also a kind of mix. It's not, there is no tea bush called dahun pao. It's a brand name. It's a local brand name for tea actually. So any tea which was harvested in the southern Fujian can be called dahun pao if it's made under technology of dahun pao. But there is up to 800 cultivars of different types of teas, which is made there. And but because dahun pao is best known, so most of farmers just made yan cha, which is called the rock tea, or rock tea actually in English. They just made it using the little bit more high temperature technology of more high temperature roasting, because there's three types of roasting of this tea. It's northern Fujian oolongs, or Uishan oolongs, or Ui oolongs, or rock tea, yan cha, a lot of different names for this tea, which is a little bit aged, but only for 5 years, these teas, so we can feel the difference.
The roasting or the frying is like the coffee, they have mild.
It's roasting, what's the difference? How it's roasted. Only we're talking about northern Fujian teas. Cement special place with a, how to say, not, they make a bowl from the cement, you know.
Yes.
Put on the, how it's called, but the bottom, you put some ash and you put some coal. But this coal is made, it's taken from the, fruit trees, and especially select fruit trees. And after that, from the top, they also put a little bit of ash to don't keep temperature too high.
Yes.
And on this, after they put a basket from bamboo, in the middle it's like that, the basket, and in the middle of basket there's a surface, not in the bottom, not on the top, only in the middle. In the middle they put the tea, like that. not too much.
I see.
And they roast it. It's tea already cooked, already dried out. But after that, they roast it again. Temperature are pretty low, from 50 to 65, sometimes up to 80. But it's a secret. Anyone do something different, and also it can be made in very different way. Traditional way, what I explain it now, but also there is a ganzaoji. It's a machinery for drying, but this machinery is also make it the same process but faster, and this is why the tea made on machinery not so tasty actually. This is why mostly we like to use we like to buy the tea from the factories. They made it on manual way in these baskets.
Fast.
Because there is electricity, there is charcoal, there's coal. So it's not coal. How it's called? Уголь, древесный уголь. Charcoal. So I told correctly. But it's very important what kind of charcoal. So it must be fruit trees and special types of fruit trees. Exactly. And any master know which kind of
makes it different.
Yeah, makes different, and they make how big layer of ash cover this charcoal. Yes. Yeah.
It's going to smell like a
So this is why most expensive teas. It's also, before I explained a little bit about Yushan tea technology, oolong tea technology. This roasting is additional, more 3 times, each time at least up to 8 hours of this roasting. So this is why it's very complicated process, and they harvest this tea in May, but it's ready in September. Because we need 3 times roasting, at least 3 times in June, July, and August, and only in it's full, and only in end of September they have a product, and in October regularly there is a holiday for tea tasting. It's called the Yushan Doucha. Doucha it means like tea competition. The same, it's very familiar. A lot of presented in Taiwan. A lot of tea competitions also. In motherland China, a little bit less. Mainland China, but also in Yushan, pretty long tradition, and pretty a lot of farmers gather together and start preparing to this competition and select the best teas we have. Not my creation, my mix. my mix. My creation was the first one. It's a white Gaba tea because it was our idea. Also, our own, technology. We have Shu Tiguanyin puer, which is absolutely incredible. We make Tiguanyin leaves, which is oolong tea, and we ferment it using Yunnan technology. So it comes really different. We have a little bit oolong tasty puer, so it's pretty unusual. And we also experiment some. We have, for example, we have here Gaba willow herb. So it's a herbal tea, but it's Gaba herbal tea. It's made one big Russian tea company, and we make project together. And when I get back to Russia, I will go to film the factory where we made it. We'll later have it. It's also very good for health if you are not resistant to caffeine. If you like drink caffeine-free teas, so this is good because it have GABA, it have a lot of antioxidants or other microelements, but at the same time it's no caffeine. So it also if we have time, we will try later. Regularly, when you drink this tea, you have very melodical aftertaste. In Yushan we call it the music of the rocks. How it can be translated this way: melody of rocks, tea melody, different names, and it only presented in the yancha, in the Yushan oolong teas, which is made by traditional way. Because if it's dried on the electrical machine, you didn't have this aftertaste and this aroma. It's just a strong roasted.
Too fast.
Yeah. And it's also The good yancha can be brewed at least 5 times, but sometimes even up to 10 times. But regularly, more a little bit cheaper yancha, like regular dahun pao, can be brewed 3-4 times, no more. But of course, this tea is not cheap at all. We now didn't have these ones because it's samples, but we will have in autumn because it's a Banshampin. It's only roasted once in the beginning of June. I just received that, and it will be finished. It becomes even more better than now in the September. Yeah.
So as gets older.
Yeah. It becomes two more additional roasting process after this. Yeah, so it becomes a little bit stronger, but at the same time it will be. And also, if you see the empty gundaba, you can smell also from the cup. But this tea have extremely good smell. So, the last Gundauba is here, and we will brew some new one. Happy we still have some time. So I decided to brew purple buds. I think we maybe have here some Zia. Do we have? We have some? Yeah, if you like, we have not these ones, but similar. This one is from a little bit more older trees what we have in stock. But the taste is maybe even lighter, but this one is just different. It's a sample. It was like whole bag. I like Yunnan samples.
So
Yeah.
this is not roasted, look like.
No, it's also made like that. Harvested dry. That's it.
Other tops from where?
Yeah. It's and also this is a wild tea trees from Lao Cha. So where's the youngest trees, I think around 500 years old. Oh no! This is not Lao Cha. This is Yunnan County, which is one of my favorite tea comes from. I know we still have Yunnan shampoo or Yunnan black. Oh no, Yunnan black we have. Yeah.
Oh, is that different colors?
Yeah. It's a little bit close to the in the technological process to the first tea because it's also kindly white, but it's not white. It's purple. Yeah, it's called purple buds.
So
Yeah.
it's not the. I mean, the. What do you call it? This is a white tea or the green tea?
It's white tea. If we talk about technology, it's white.
White.
But there is a lot of misunderstandings in. I have in Facebook was a lot of tea groups, and I argued a lot with some tea enthusiasts this is not, you can't call poor white tea, you can't name white tea poor, white poor, it's not blah 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 and so on. But the farmers call it purple bud white tea sometimes, or just purple buds, or just white buds of ancient trees, or it's a lot of names because they don't care a lot about the naming. We just care about the quality of what we're doing. But actually we have a very, very interesting aroma and some moss from the ancient tea trees. Yeah. Sometimes it also contain hairs and stuff. Never afraid on it. Never afraid. It didn't change your DNA if you drink it. In puer, it's often presented because, for example, in our factory we work in Manhai, because most of our pure cakes made on one factory, because we have from all around Yunnan, bring it to one factory, and there we press it. And they bought special machinery как это, липкий, как это, sticky roller, and all the tea comes from this sticky roller first, and all hairs and zimao, how it's in English. I don't know how it's in Russian. Zimao in Chinese. Zi, it's chicken.
Really?
Fur, yeah. Jimao, sometimes also,
But
it's a lot.
It's not a chicken feather in it.
You know, a lot of people, especially
I hope not.
someone who just live in the bubble, they think that farm products or agriculture products must be 100% clean. And they see with my movies, if you used to see my YouTube blog in Russian and in English also, Sergey Mochai, if you didn't knew that, in English. Also we have more than 100 movies in English already translated, dubbed. And yeah, and you can see the factories, which is absolutely doesn't look like a, wow, it's so ISO 100 clean and so on. It's impossible for small villages, but the best tea actually made on these factories. The best if you're talking about material, but sometimes now it's a little bit more changed because the government helps to change them machinery, make it more clean, build new buildings for factories and so on. So now it becomes better. But the tea, the main thing when we drink the first brew, often they didn't drink. Now we drink, but regularly when you drink at home, I recommend you didn't drink first brew. It's a kind of hygienical procedure also for these reasons. But from my side, I can say that I drank thousands of teas everywhere in any factory without any. First we try, and only after that I make some tests and pesticides and so on. And is it clean or not? Is it okay or not? And so on. But first I try, and I tried so many teas. If it can be harmful, I will be dead. Absolutely 100%, because I didn't drink anything. But my colleagues who travel with me also still alive, you know. Because I pretty rare, I travel alone. Mostly I take someone, the cameraman at least.
Their farming
No.
quality?
No, you know why? Because if we even talk about Netherlands, if someone live just inside the dunes, they think that Netherlands is full of dunes, and there is nothing except dunes, only dunes and big sand and beautiful sea and nothing else. There is no any farmland, only dunes in Netherlands, you know. Netherlands is a dunes country, or Netherlands is a forest country. If you go to the border with Germany, only forests, no any fields, nothing. Or if you live near just flower fields and so on, Netherlands is full of flowers, only flowers, nothing else. The same with China, you know. There's locations, and or industrial locations mostly near the sea or in the north of China. But in
East part of it.
eastern and near the sea.
Yes.
For example, if we take Guangdong province, the southern east Guangdong province is full of industry, but northern side is full of forests. It's more than thousands kilometers from there. At the same time with Fujian, Fujian province now, if we talking about whole world, the fastest forest recovery province on planet Earth. They invest, as India, for example, also invest a lot in the recovery of forests. And because of the climate, 20 years is enough to have again the jungles after we was cut it. They didn't have big trees actually, but they still, Fujian province now up to 65% of land of Fujian, maybe even more. It's a forest. It's a forest. And only on the, near the sea, they have some factory facilities, but Fujian mostly focused on agricultural and so on. The same as Yunnan. Yunnan is also agricultural province. And Guangxi, so all these tea regions are really located very, very far away of any industrial activities. There are some regions which are pretty close, like Zhejiang province, They have a same time tea and same time industrial. This is why I have very limited amount of Georgian, and we will never have it here because European regulations, no way. And the same time with teas from a little bit from Jiangsu, but not from Isin. From Isin, black tea we will have it and it's clean. But there are some other regions which is really close to Shanghai, and yeah, this tea is I didn't even go there to harvest to try, because it's very close to industrial regions. But most of teas, for example, Hunan province, whole county making tea, and there is nothing except tea. The same as Yunnan, Sichuan, Banan, Manhai region, and Pur, Linsan, rice, tea, tobacco, nothing else. They just only agriculture. Yeah. So they focused on. Also, they are now invest a lot in tourist. They want to. Yeah. In last years, Chinese government invest a lot of money, and they really enforced the close up to 1,000 factories in 2019, which manufacture plastic toys for children, which is not. It's not poison. It was not feed some European and American regulations, and because they also changed Chinese regulations each year, they receive more and more strict, and they can be strict, as you see with COVID now, and China can be strict. So this is a good point about Chinese government, but we really care. But it's not care, it's not care about we want some great tea. It's also we care about market, because if we have bad quality agricultural products, we can sell it abroad. They only can sell it on any market or some other Asian countries, but never to Europe or America. So this is why we try to, of course, still exists some, but we made tests for most of our teas. We made tests here in Netherlands, SGS, and I was surprised that even cheaper teas, like we have Hei Chu Hao, our cheapest green tea, clean. We have tests from local Dutch company, SGS, but not Dutch, it's international one. But we check it, and it's good that it's. I first we didn't import. I just make some tests, and I didn't. I was amazed a little bit, because I think that these cheap teas must be not suitable for European Union, but it's suitable. Okay. So it's great, yeah. But this problem become less and less year by year, because they use also some. There's also some more research in pesticides, and even they know how to use glyphosate, for example. You clean the field. After that, 2 years you didn't touch, you didn't crop, didn't harvesting, but you kill all the other wheat. Yeah, you didn't need it, and after that you have organic actually, because you already use it for once. After 2 years it completely disappear, and you can use it. So even the chemicals, it can be grown in the right way, but of course better didn't use it, but some point they use, of course, even in Japan, even in Taiwan, everywhere. If you will be connected closer to agriculture, you know that it's pretty not impossible, but it's difficult because of pricing. If you want to make it completely organic, it will be very expensive. And if you talk about organic, it also exists. And we work, for example, with some Guizhou. Our green teas from Guizhou, all completely organic, 100%. And they use, we're very lucky with the local climate in that area. We didn't have a lot of bugs, so we didn't need insecticide. And they use this yellow sticky stuff to control the insects, and also special electric catcher of this, and it's working now.
Oh, for the bugs.
Yeah. And now even have like a big electric thing, I don't know how it's called, and they just plug it 220. And it works after 5 kilometers, no any insects, but it's very dangerous because they destroy any insects, except only including something which is needed for feeding birds and so on. So they just switch it on for a while, after that switch off for a few days, and you do it. So it still needs some research. But this way we didn't use any kind of pesticide, so tea is completely organic. But it's also harmful for ecosystem, so it must be researched. There's a lot of different information around, because when we just now bought our own plantation in Georgia, I also started more research for our own plantation in this point. But it's interesting that in Georgia, because of the weather, there is no insects. The same as Russia. This winter we have this level of snow on the tea bushes. This is we call Russian frost as a bad insecticide. And so it's completely destroy any bugs, and you didn't have actually any problem with that. Only the plants. With plants you need to cut manually, and this costs a lot. If someone else also have some question, you can also ask. Sorry. Yeah.
The water source is a river or is a pond?
It depends. It depends. In Georgia, we didn't need water source. There's a lot of rain. And in Ansi County, there's pretty dry seasons often, and they have a big ponds on the top of the mountain. And after that, we have kind of irrigation system for watering the tea bushes. But in Yunnan province, we didn't need it. Also, there's a lot of rain. But sometimes we have dry seasons, and it's of course it's very harmful, but not for tea trees, only for bushes. For plantations, it's harmful, but for tea trees, it's forest. Forests don't care. They have big roots.
They grow wild, basically.
Yeah.
Of the rain.
Yeah. We will have our next tea now. How did you like this one?
I liked it very much.
Interesting.
Special flavor.
In a little bit, you see, a little bit taste of tar from the tree.
Oh, you mean
No. Not berry, not raisin. There's a raisin. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
No, not resume. No, not resume.
grape. Yeah, it's like
No. We're not talking about this. No. We don't talk about this.
One that you do the oil for the violet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have two strains of resin, right?
Yeah, we have one here, it's pretty similar, but not the same. If you like this one, I can sell it.
This one is with the bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. But this one is different. Okay, so the next tea, it will be a little bit more aged champoer. We tried a loose leaf one, but this one is from my personal collection. Yesterday we just opened it with my friend and drink it for the first time after storing it around 10 years, and I didn't knew how it's going because I stored it by myself. I bought it maybe 8 years, I don't remember, maybe 8 years ago, and it's from 2001, so it's around 20 years old now. Yeah, and it's from 2001. It's from Chantai Tea Factory. I was there around 6 or 7 years ago on this factory, and they didn't produce a lot now. They mostly sell old tea because they can when invested a lot in the tea in the beginning of millennium. So they have something. It's called Ichan Hao, one of the famous their recipes, and also good material from it's from a region a little bit southern from Pur city. Actually, this is not from tea trees, it's from tea plantation, but material is also good.
so it's like a bush.
It's a bush, yeah.
It's a shen, right?
It's a shen. The cover is like that. They also use traditional Chinese characters, which is old ones. Now a lot of fakes of this design, the same as later maybe we drink some from Manhai Tea Factory. because with this design you can find a lot of fakes. But after you try, you will see a lot of
Logo,
difference.
you mean, is specialized for that.
Not the logo, just design, similar design. Even we make the absolutely the same cover. 3 weeks ago in Shanghai, there was one police investigation finished completely. They find the factory which is work for making fake aged puer, and they make it from material for 10 yuan and sell for few thousands yuan. If we will talk together, it will be difficult for me. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. I think you have a good tea. It's really working on you.
No, I mean the artificial flavor they used because they got caught or something like a fake.
It's not a flavor. We just make a fake fermentation of new fresh harvested cheap tea, and make paper like old paper, same design. They wash it in some special acid to make it more like yellowish, and also give some bugs to eat this paper. And after that, they cover it and make a bamboo special cover and make it fake. Also aging in water, store in water, and after that ferment it in special machine for a while. So its appearances looks like aged old tea, but the taste disgusting. It's something what you can find on AliExpress. Therefore, it costs like $20 for a 50 years old shampoo. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, this one is I call it regular aged shan. So it's something in the middle. It's not like the best one, but it's also the good one at least. Yeah. And because for me, I think that Shenpur becomes more interesting after 20 years. I think even we can maybe try. Now we'll drink next one. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah, I can tell, of course. I don't know. Do we have it here or maybe no? Maybe we didn't bring it yet here. Yeah, but yeah, yellow tea is one of the ancient technologies also, and now present at pretty low amount of it. One is in Hunan, Jianshui, Junshan-dao. It's an island in Hunan province. Junshan in Jing, one of the famous. It's Emperor's Tea, and they have only one factory in it on the Junshan Island, in Junshan Tea Factory. I was there, and this year, for last 3 years, I received samples from this factory, and I always a little bit don't like it, and I didn't buy it. Why? Because they're really expensive as hell, and the taste is I really don't like it. And then maybe yeah, I need to visit it physically, but not now, and check it again. This is why for 2 years I didn't buy something from there. But there is one of my favorite ones. It's from Mendin Shan, Mendin Mountain, Sichuan province, and they have a really good yellow tea. And also it's one of the first cultivated tea places. So there's the first tea plantation on Mendin Mountain located, and they have like first tea bushes which was specially planted for emperor tea. And they have a legend that in specially jade jars we bring this tea to the emperor palace each year during the spring season. Virgins pick up the leaves and so on. But you know, now in China there exists a company which make tea harvested by virgins, and they check the virginity before, and they only employ virgins for that. I'm not joking. It is, and it's costs pretty a lot, because regularly if you go to fields you didn't see any. Mostly in Yunnan you can see still, because they invite some workers from Vietnam and from Laos, because salaries in China grow. I mean, there are some illegal workers from Vietnam, a lot. And illegal versions, yeah. There are some. As far you go from the big cities, as more versions you see. But yellow tea is, if we talk about technology, it's something really close to green, but there is a steaming process and covering by paper, and it's also complicated kind of roasting, but not roasting, kind of fermentation. And the last one is Hoshan engine. It's Anhui province, Hoshan. This year I hope we will have something, because I bought 7 kilos of it for all the chain. Each shop will have 200 grams, maybe 150 grams, but it's not cheap at all. So it's enough.
Factories, right? It's not very popular.
It's not popular, and at the same time, it's I think all Hoshan engine made year amount of the region is around 1 ton. That's it for all farmers. Because regularly they made Hoshan Huanya. It's also Hoshan Huanya. It means yellow bud, but it's not bud. Actually, it's 2 leaves and bud. But in Jane, it's only bud, and it's expensive. It's really difficult to harvest green and yellow teas while you stay abroad. It's disgusting. This year was very, very difficult, because the samples didn't go directly from China. We sent something here, we sent something to Moscow. Month of delivery first from China to Hong Kong, from Hong Kong to Singapore, from Singapore to Moscow, or to Sweden, from Sweden to Amsterdam. It's crazy, and it's month and a half. And I received some samples. I asked, "Oh, I want this tea. Great, we already sold out. It's perfect." So yeah, this year I prefer do it manually on the place, but not this time. But we will have some. This tea, actually, as I have strong Cha tea energy. You feel the mindfulness. Actually, there is a lot of ways of consuming tea, and some of Taoist practicums are, and also some masters in Taiwan mostly presented, in Japan also, of course. Japanese ceremony is completely different thing, but I like the Taiwanese view on it, because it's something in between. When you keep more attention on the tea, less attention to the talk, and just drinking tea and not talking at all. It's silent ceremonies. There was a very good tradition. It's called Wu, which means in Chinese, no me, just no ego, no any kind of branding and stuff. And its tradition comes in the end of 20th century in Taiwan. And it was one of the factors which helps to rebuild the tea culture, not only in Taiwan, but Taiwan was a reservation for culture, Chinese culture, where it was destroyed in mainland, and after mainland becomes more open to bringing culture back. Taiwanese businessmen and people came back and opened first tea houses in the 90s. And one of the biggest company, it still exists. How it's called? I forgot. Tianfu company. Tianfu. Zhang Tianfu, the owner of the company, was a good friend of Hu Jintao, president, secretary of Communist Party. And they opened thousands of shops and a few research centers, buy a lot of plantations, and start manufacturing good tea in China after a big delay from 60s to 90s. And it was a recovery of all the Chinese tradition and one of these big goals. Also, other companies, of course, impacted, but this was one of the biggest. They have an institute in Sichuan, in Fujian, and other places. And but in Taiwan, if you talk about more on cultural side, with Uwo means that people who belongs to tea houses or individual tea masters, they came around in some area, then they represent their view of brewing tea, so they make some kind of tea space. Doesn't matter, is it tea tray or whatever, stone or fabric, or doesn't matter how we represent it, but they just preparing tea and they serving tea. They didn't have any brands the tea house we represent or company we represent. They just brewing tea and mostly in silence, and the guests came. It's also free event. I think it still exists in Taiwan, but I never participated it. Only in Alishan Mountain once. It was like a kind of private party of tea for tea friends. Around 20 masters participate. We also made some in Moscow, and ice in the center of Moscow on the pond. It was Chinese New Year, and we called any tea master who want to participate. Doesn't matter, it's our company and other tea houses. Some people came and they brew tea. But interesting that in Taiwan it was a kind of first push on popularization and of tea culture, and after that this tradition moved to China, and now especially in Fujian province and Guangdong province, mostly in Fujian province, a Taiwanese way of consuming tea and philosophy behind all very close to these people. But why? Because originally this Minnan Zhu, which is a national minority of Fujian province, mostly present in Taiwan, which is why strong connection with Fujian people and Taiwanese people. They understand each other. They speak Minnan Hua. It's a Minnan dialect, and this is one of the biggest dialects. Up to 60 million people talk Minnan Hua, and this is why the culture transfers easily. And it's very interesting how the appearance of tea house is changed during the time, and how the tea itself changes, and the technology and the philosophy behind, as I told, and how did they, and Chinese just like a SpongeBob, like take anything from Japan and Taiwan and Korea a little bit, but mostly of course from Taiwan. 195% taken from Taiwan, and also a lot of excavated treasures from the Cultural Revolution. Ash became, and now they even build, I think, better than it was before. Because if you take modern ceramic in Zhejiang, it's much better than it was in Qing Dynasty. Much better quality, much better diversity, factories, anything. Tea is much more, more technology came, more good machinery, and at the same time more research, more types, more. So it's, from my view, it's even becomes better than it was before. I think yes, of course. And at the same time, even Chinese, if we talk about traditional Chinese tea consuming, was first presented in monasteries, and especially cultural tea consuming, the same as we just drink rock tea, Oishan, oolong tea. Oishan mountains is a famous mountains for the first was Taoist mountains, but later on then Buddhism little bit moved Taoism from Oishan mountains, not only from there, because Taoism a little bit less, how to say, less want to be adopted by the government, the more anarchic, how to say. And this is why Taoist monastery is less presented, even now. And not only because of this, but yeah, there are some reasons. Because we didn't talk about politics, so I didn't want to take more detail. But the view, yeah, it is, of course. And on Taiwan, where mostly, of course, the Buddhist monasteries presented, and they not focused a lot on tea. Actually, not even in China, it's sometimes even more. But a lot of tea houses, of course, made in this way. There's a lot of famous one, for example, Wisteria in Taipei, one of the famous Taiwanese tea houses. Also some others. There's a lot. And if you come to Taiwanese tea house, now you can see not so much difference between Chinese, but 10 years ago it was very big difference. And you feel the more minimalistic side, less tea trays, but more fabric designs, like a big long tables. This gunpowder style. This is a dry steeping, how we call it. Because, for example, this way it's a tea tray. It can be like a bamboo or wooden or stone or whatever. But the Taiwanese mostly use fabric and no any water, just a bowl when you put on the water, and it's called gunpowder. It's called the dry brewing, dry steeping. But it's also not only about appearance. But for me, I didn't like when some people make kind of not trend, but oh, this is a rule. You must brew this way. It must be appearing like that. If you take guy one on this hand, is absolutely you didn't have a ceremony, or you broke all the structure and atmosphere and so on. So this is only appearance, and for me, I didn't keep a lot of attention on appearance. I keep only the concept, how it's going.
Would you say the Japanese are unique in using this fresh matcha tea?
Yeah, of course. And in Taiwan, you often can see matcha, but mostly presented in the bars, like we do here, for example. For example, first Tiguanyin latte I seen 10 years ago in Taiwan. It was already there, and they make it maybe another way, but they use Tiguanyin powder and make it like a matcha from Tiguanyin. So it's we're really open to experiments. All bubble tea came from Taiwan, actually. All these tea experiments, bars, drinks came from Taiwan. But if we talk about matcha in traditional Japanese tea rooms, it's also presented in Taiwan, but not so many. Of course, it's mostly belongs to Japan, but because Taiwan was 50 years under occupied by Japan, so of course we still have some Japanese influence, but not strong, because during when Kuomintang came over, they was war with Japan before, and so most of Japanese get back to Japan. But still some influence. We can find some Japanese antiques, which is good for me. I often searching there, because in Japan even something more difficult to find, but there still exists something. And a lot of, but I think biggest Taiwanese input in aged tea. A lot of aged Shenpur stored in Japan, on Taiwan.
What about milk oolong, this one?
Milk oolong originally came from Taiwan. And first there was a legend that Alishan oolong, which is a Tingshan oolong, which is no any artificial flavoring, it's just only oolong tea, and sometimes some farmer made this oolong, and he tried, and he seen that, oh, it's so tasty, and it's a little bit have some small taste of milk, milky notes in taste. And he sold it, and a lot of clients wanted again, but it was difficult to make the same, because it was special. It was just a kind of technology mistake, or it was because of the other. Just he can't make the same again. It's a legend. And after that, he started flavoring it by milk, how they call it. There were a lot of stupid legends around. They just If you just take cow milk and feed the bushes with milk, or you just put the tea in the milk and dry the milk, or you just use a milk powder during the fermentation. It's all bullshit, sorry. We really think that it's flavor. It's a flavor, it's taken from как сливки, как по-английски. Cream, from milk cream. If it's good flavoring, it's from milk cream. If it's not good, it's chemical made. It's not harmful at all, but it's not natural. So this is why it's only one tea we have, which is artificially flavored, only one. And how it's irregularly made? Regularly, it's made from how to say? We take old oolong, which is already not aged, but just not fresh, not tasty one. Which is you can't sell. It's not tasty, just a material. And you take this flavor, and it can be something drinkable. But how we do that? We take fresh tea guanine and with flavoring and make this through this flavoring. But when you drink, first you feel these milky notes, but after third brew you feel the tea guanine. So, but I never recommend this tea. I always say that if you like natural teas, please don't buy it. We have it, but don't buy it. we keep it for someone who really Google, oh, I want milk oolong, blah, blah, blah. And after that, we try to push and say that free sample of good tea, tea guanine, Xinxian oolong from Taiwan, please try. Never drink milk oolong. But it's not harmful, it's just not natural. And it's okay to drink. It's maybe if you just go outside on the road in the city, you'll receive much more chemicals than a year of consuming tea with flavoring and so on. So it's okay. But I didn't drink it.
It's a legend. It's not true that it's.
Of course, no, never ever. You can't do that. It's impossible. It will be very fast. You will see the. It's a sportica. Yeah, it will be. Yeah, it will be spoiled very soon, very quickly. So we will.
Maybe you can feed the cow with the tea.
Yeah, and after make the tea from the poo. Yeah, like a tea cake. Great.
Or feed the cow
Yeah. And make a. We already had a joke, but people who don't really into tea to. Good.
You can get the farm. You have your 50 hectares. You can
5 for now.
have a small portion for the cows.
I think it's.
This legend.
We will have not milky oolong, but we have oolongish milk because we can feed the cow with a tea. But actually, in Georgia, because there's a lot of abandoned plantations, our biggest enemy is the cows.
Here you go.
We need to build the fences against the cows, and it's really difficult because they broke the fences and go to take our bushes, take over on them, and
They like the tea.
they like tea.
There you go.
And they become more powerful to break the fences again because they need their drug. Yeah.
Maybe indeed you can create the brand of oolong milk.
Yeah, why not? Maybe.
Bottled.
Yeah. But it's really, it's expensive because if you need to fill the cows with tea, you need pretty big amount of leaf. It's more suitable to make not milky tea, not milk with tea, but tea with milk is better, easier. Okay, we will try. So this tea can be brewed eternally. So I will change it to other one. Did you feel something change it? Yeah, a little bit.
It was quite strong actually.
Yeah, it's strong. Regularly on all my sessions, I say that never try this at home. This way of consuming, because we drink a lot, and maybe you will sleep today not so, but once a month, twice a month, once in 2 months, it's okay. But regularly, I recommend 2 teas one time, 3 teas one, and no more, and only on full stomach, not an empty one. And so yeah. Oh, we forgot to take some nuts today. Sorry, next time.
After we mentioned milk, I have remembered the Tibetan variant with salt and a lot of milk.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
tell something about this
Yeah.
I tried once and it was something unusual, but
Uh-huh.
it's interesting.
Yeah, it's what I talking before when I talk about the Heicha and Kalmyk tea. It's Middle Asian. Yeah, it's the same, absolutely the same tradition. So it's the bricks of tea, the leaves and material for this is like crops like that, very big. There are sticks inside for formation, for make it brick more armatura. There is a special armatura inside the tea brick, which is
Ironworks.
ironworks.
Yeah, just the frame.
Yeah. So this is why we need these big crops. Material we use, we just feed the fungus in this tea. And this is Original Pistato, which is a Jinhua from Heicha. This mold completely all the tea, all the Sri Lankan tea, and it becomes much more tasty. It's magic. We already talked to some big manufacturers. You know the trick how you can make your crappy tea a little bit better. It's a good idea.
What about sodium glutamate? In Chinese cuisine, it
In
is
Chinese
already-
cuisine, it's not harmful, at least what I can say. I'm still alive, you know, and we eat it a lot. I never ask the cookers to, oh, please don't add that. It's whatever. I don't care. Maybe it's not, how to say, it's not. Then I'm not so accurate in all this organic stuff, and I don't care.
Is there any evidence of
Maybe my
using-
health is, but I have a good immunity system. But I think that yeah, it's better to don't use it. If you can, or you can ask, please don't add in the kitchen. They prepare it, but
Does anyone use it for tea?
we don't need it. Why? Tea? No, tea. The same as sugar.
Tea.
Good tea didn't need the sugar. But there is some black teas, which is one of the processes, one of the fermentation process. They like spray a little bit by the sugar and water to make it sweet. They make it sometimes, but it also we use canned sugar and very low concentrate, and they spray. But we didn't have it. We didn't have this made by this technology. But it's only one, how to say, way how they use it. Now we will drink Gaba red tea, Gaba Huncha. It's also from the same factory in Yunnan. It's tea called Gehu. It's It's traditional Yunnan black tea, or some people call black, some people red. Confused about this naming.
What can you tell you about the Krasnodar industries? I mean, a year ago I couldn't imagine one of the best tea is from Krasnodar, but for me it is.
It's, I think, one of the biggest thing is Alexander, our technologist. He is very enthusiastic, and he's spoiled a lot of material to make tryouts for a couple of years. And the first time he sent me samples, I drink a little and say no, please don't send me anything. I didn't need this tea. I will never buy it. But he constantly, each spring, he sent me samples. Sergey, please try. And he's called me and sent me more messages. And after that, my employee just tried. Accidentally just tried to say, Sergey, I have something. I say, what? This is a guy from Krasnodar. You just mistaken. It can't be good. He said, you must try it. And I try it. I amaze it a little bit. I call him, you're a good guy. So your videos help me because I filming a lot of technology, and he just research a lot. And after that, we start cooperating, and now anything what he produced we buy, just so it's kind of our cooperative manufacturing facility. He didn't make a lot, but he makes something. Yeah, it's. I think it's a good improvement. But if you focus on technology, you can do anything from any material. And there's, because the tea bushes in Krasnodar region were mostly like mixed already a little bit wildish bushes, and also Kolchida cultivar and two others, and that's it. So it's not very rich in diversity of cultivars. There's not so many land actually, and our factory looks like a village house with one roller, one fryer. I bring it from China, from Fujian, and all doing completely manually. And you know, they как батут, как это по-английски? Батут, детский. Trampoline for kids, you know, in the backyard, trampoline for kids. This we use it for drying tea leaves. And I always, because Alexandra have 4 kids, and I always say that during the tea season, you didn't give your kids to trampoline on this. I say, okay, I bought the second one. Okay, this year is something changing. So it's good. With our cooperation start, and I also came several times. I have some documentary, it's in Russian. We even filmed 2 documentaries. And there came more enthusiasts in Krasnodar region, but their amounts of like nothing. There's 2 big factories, there's Hosta tea and also Selhaul tea factory and Macesta tea factory, but all they do only black and green and nothing else. The same as Georgian manufacturers, we didn't experiment because they didn't have a market, and they didn't have a market for a little bit more expensive teas. And our main thing that we can sell it. They can't produce anything, but if you don't have your own client base, you can't sell it because it's difficult to promote. And this is why the only one who do that it's Alexander, who work together with him. And yeah, it's really hard work to do anything alone. But he made this year maybe we made 1 ton something, maybe even less. So it's not big amount of tea. This is why pricing is also a little bit higher than even Chinese tea. But it's what I can say exactly. It's the cleanest tea. When we made SGS tests, the cleanest one was this one, because there are 40 years old plantations, which is never ever any glyphosate, any insecticide, so it's completely clean. And the second thing, it's completely manual. So this one is one of our treasures. The same as tea from Yunnan. Later on, we receive our Georgian tea also, because it's similar regions. Gaba also. Gaba and the Shuper, Krasnodar Shuper we also have. Do you have it here? I think no. No, we bring later on. Gaba Shu. Do we have a Shuper from Krasnodar here? Krasnodar Shu. Krasnodar Shen we have. We still have it. Wow. My recommendations. Krasnodar Shen is one of the best products for last year, but we already sold out it in Russia. But
yeah,
here,
true. I tried one month.
yeah.
No, such in Moscow.
Yeah. But in Moscow we will have also later here this harvest this year. It's also good, but last year harvest it's incredible. Something. It's one of the best what he made. With Gaba Shen, because it's a little bit fermented in vacuum. He made his own technology. I even didn't film it because it's a kind of secret. But as I know it, he make a glass big bowls and put tea inside and close it up. And after that, so yeah.
How about Dutch tea?
Dutch tea, it's you know, Johan, who made it, he have a plantation in Brabant. And when I came, I was wondering that he only make tea bags. He only make this Johan brand, and he supply the Albert Heijn and all the big markets with tea bags. And I was pyramid, sorry, but it's the same shit, sorry. And I was so amazed. you making good tea, like not manually, but you growing tea in Netherlands and you make tea bags. And I asked, maybe you can make something for us, like a loose tea. And he a little bit wondered, okay, I can. And he made this, we already have two parcels of tea. One at first was only black and green, second was also black and green, and we're now waiting for white one. And I think that anyone tried black one? I will change to next, or we more of this. It's okay. And you already. You see, okay, so he experiments the teas, but interesting to say that Johan is not alone who grow tea in Europe. I was a little bit amazed a couple of years ago when I found even kind of association of European tea growers. Of course, each member of this association make 1 kilo a year, or 2 kilos a year maybe, or but maybe not 2 kilos, but okay, 100 kilos, but it's nothing, you know. But but it's a good initiative anyway. Of course, if we could talk about CP value, it's not competitive with anything. It's expensive, but it's good that it's grown here, and we also like to support. And and also he improves the technology, and the second bunch was even better than the first one. So it's good to have. It's funny that it's grown in green tails, not in the soil, but there is someone who grow also in Brabant in the soil. Also, we have some tea plantation, and also in France and Belgium they have, in Germany, in Italy, in Spain. So it's growing.
What's the character of the tea? What are the qualities?
I think the quality is good. It's especially if we talk about green tea, it's like. If we talk about the aromatic aspects and flavor, aroma, and so on, and maybe something close to regular Japanese or regular Chinese green Maofen tea, but it have uniqueness in taste. A little bit seaweed taste, as I found it. So it's interesting, and at least it's interesting to try. And its main benefit, main goal is that it's different. It's not the same. We try it and see, oh, it's something not the same, not like I already tried before. So I like it, and I think that I'm really open. We're planning for maybe next year to more cooperate with other European manufacturers also, because I think it's interesting, and because any soil, any climate, any place. The same as wine, you know, same as cheese. It became different, and you will see something completely new taste because it's grown in other region. So I think it's good. It's good that it's started, and of course we will be also more. Maybe we'll make our own plantation. Why not? I hope Johan didn't kill me after that. Cut it from the video, cut it. Yeah, but don't cut. Joking. Yeah, but yeah, last tea for today. I see you still alive. Yeah, that's okay. It's alive or alive? Alive. Yes. I speak Chinese better. Still as a tea leaf. You steal a tea leaf, yeah. This is a tea from my very good friend, Taiwanese collector and Taiwanese master, which I really can call the master because his place located nearby in Taipei, and it's very minimal. It's like one table, one fabric on a table, one pot, few cups, and that's it. Empty space and few shelves for storage of teas. Yeah, I hope you like it. Yeah, it's similar a little bit to your place. Yeah, so yeah, and he sells only kind of aged teas, 40 years age plus. So this is a tea harvested in 1972. So it's already like 50 years old. Next year will be 50. And it's oolong from Taiwan, so it's originally oolong. And this is something unique. We had something like this for sale before, but while I can travel to Taiwan, I can't contact him because he only have a phone and he don't use internet. He already around 90 something years old. I hope still alive. And yeah, old tea from old master. Wish we can drink in silent, or maybe if German want to play something.
I know that it's a very exclusive and not very perhaps popular format, but we made the vinyl records, and I would like you to pay attention to this one. It's called Land of Three Fogs.
Maybe you can play it later on.
Yeah, it's music from various ethnic groups that live along the Southeast Asian border of China, and on the other side Burma, Thailand, Laos, and more. So, and the person who recorded this, it's recorded by Dutch anthropologist Fred Halles, who is incidentally sitting there behind. So, and this people actually pioneered the tea tradition, apparently, and it has quite a meticulous explanation of all the tribes, descriptions, and the record is also quite interesting. It's transparent. It's a very good quality vinyl, 180 gram vinyl. So, just for you to know, if any of you want to give a good gift to some of your vinyl loving friends, you can always have a limited edition of this.
Only 300 copies.
No, yeah, this 300 copies only. So there are more, but I think this one is particularly interesting for tea lovers because there is also
more later.
Story of Sergei coming to Amsterdam, how this label came about. So quite unique material.
And also, yeah, German didn't say that he also have a second record of his own, OMFO, his own project. But it's also
more limited editions of 100 copies.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but with Fred Halles we have a very good interview on my English channel. If you like, Fred said a lot of interesting things about his travels around the areas where I was the other goals. I just was there for tea, but he was for recording the ethnic music of this region. So it's very interesting, and this is why we decided to publish this record.
Actually, there are two more records coming up in this series. The third one will be music from Altai, from South Siberia, and the fourth one will be bioacoustic recordings of different insects, mammals, and amphibians. In fact, the sounds that you are hearing in the background, many of those files will be published on the vinyl. So
we like it manual. The same as a tea. Tea is something not digital at all, and I like analog sound. And I also was a DJ, used to be a DJ for 10 years, and I even play sometimes now, but a little bit, not so many time for that, but this is one of the reasons. You must drink tea to become a tea master. After you drank a lot, you became a master.
But not milk your own, right?
No. Yeah, it's also a masterpiece. It's also a kind of gunfu to brew a tea bag right way, to throw it away right way, and put the instead of it good tea. It's also a kind of ceremony. It's a ceremony of changing the mindset. What we previously talked about. Yeah. So, but about this teaching, yeah. You know, it's as soon as you can brew tea for someone and someone start like, it means like you are a little bit closer to master from my view. But I'm never ever even call myself master, because I'm just like tea, and I'm traveling around doing some business around, and I think the main is to know how to amaze and to know how to represent it in a way that people feel this atmosphere, build the atmosphere around tea. And it also that atmosphere can be explained in very wide terms. It can be, of course, a communicational framework. It can be meditative ceremony. It can be like now, like degustation station. It can be friends meeting. It can be anything, and it's difficult. I know, because some people just really like stamps and their or I have a special certificate of blah blah blah. I had it. I had a few times. I had in China a chance to study. They have also a kind of certificates, which government recognized certificates in China, and they have first is Cha Dao Shi, which means master of tea, tea preparing. So it's a tea master which can work in tea house, for example. Cha Dao Shi, you just need to know several types of teas, know how to prepare it, know a little bit about ceramic, in pots, cups, type of porcelains, and that's it. And of course you must you must wear a very beautiful coat, you must be a young lady and make it like that. And after that you are Cha Dao Shi. The second step, what? Maybe not virgin. Mostly it's up to 99.9% of Cha Dao Shi. It's young ladies from 60 to 22, up to 99.9% regularly in China. If you talk about Chinese beautiful ceremonies for opening the tea, there was a funny story about during the one session of Communist Party in Beijing. There was the beautiful girls served the cups with the tea, and on the next ceremony we canceled that. And some reporter asked why you cancel these beautiful ladies who served tea to the members of this party meeting, and they said because the participants of meetings they spoil attention. They make them attention on focused on the ladies, not on the meeting. So it's just funny. But a lot of celebrations and festivals, tea festivals in China, mostly represented by this style of stylish Chinese traditional wearing ladies brewing tea. It's very beautiful, it's very attractive, it's a kind of show, but mostly it's nothing belongs, nothing's behind it. It's just only appearance. And if you ask the masters in most of tea clubs, especially, they can't explain a lot. Not all of them, but often it can be like that. So then became a second step is pincha shi. Pincha shi, it means a master who can try tea, who can pincha. Pincha, it's trying tea, it's tasting tea. With pincha shi, it's a master who can drink few types of tea and say, oh, this is a white, this is a green, this is a exact type of oolong, and maybe explain a little bit the notes of tea. Brew it more accurate, no more geography, no more something else. So it can be kind of more knowledgeable person. I need some water, guys. Where is some water? Or yeah. And the last is Zuo Cha Shi. Zuo Cha Shi, it means someone who can make the tea on the factory. So it's tea technologist. This one, it's also someone who like a top, because Zuo Cha Shi, he also can and must be Pin Cha Shi. He must try his products, how did he made it, and he must have ability to test what he done. If we talk about education in China, it's pretty made on a good level. In Russia, we have our own tea school. Maybe later on here we also have. If someone interested, you can ask our staff, leave your details. You can participate our tea school, and also we will have a online tea school. But I think offline is of course much better because it's a product, and you need to try it. But what I can say, the main teacher is yourself, is you. You must just try, and main teacher is tea and attention, because there is a. When we talk about ceremony, it's not a ceremony. It's then you focused on the process. When you focused on it, keep a lot of attention to anything what you're doing, how you move, how you brew, how many tea you put, what kind of water, how you make it. All your moves will be smooth. And this is what the tea teach you. While you're drinking more and more, you buy some more porcelain and clay and stuff, and play with that. It's a game, you know. And as soon as you play this game longer, you just and drink tea. Of course, you just learn how to prepare, how to make it perfect taste and perfect aroma. This is the main thing, because some people focus a lot on some dogmatic things, dogmatic aspects, how you must do that, and la 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 la. But if you can't prepare tea, it's nothing. You just focus on the practical side, and after that, all theory came, I think. And it also depends on what is your goal, because some people didn't know a lot. The theoretic side, like geography and manufacturing, how it's done, or something other. And especially, a lot of my Chinese friends often wonder, Sergey, why are you asking how is tea made? Does it matter for you? It's just okay. We made it on this machinery. That's it. That's okay. I said, no, please. How did you ferment it? How is the process? Okay, but why did you need it? Do you have factory? For that time I didn't have it. I said, no, I'm just interested. I said, so strange, because this is two big differences between. First is manufacturing, farming, manufacturing, selling. And the selling is tea houses, tea clubs, some brands and stuff. Oh, thank you. And so this is completely different things. And often some more successful companies, as ours, have their own manufacturing facilities. This is better because you can control anything. You can make something by the order. How did you need it? You can make something special. And it's really good. But some companies, of course, only have a tea house, and they focus on the culture of consuming tea, or representing or ordering some special pottery for the tea, making their own style. And often all of these aspects not belongs to the practical side, it belongs to the marketing. They want to make it like, we brewing tea only in big Song Dai bowl, Song Dynasty bowl, put the 3 leaves inside, wait while it's prepared and meditate for 2 hours and drink in silence. And this is the only way how you must consume tea. All the other ways, it's completely must be ignorable. It's not true. It's not original. A lot of I call it kind of tea sects. It's pretty presented, especially some guy from Taiwan. This is I don't want to blame someone. I just only don't like then it became kind of dogmatic. It became kind of tea must be only this way. So it's a kind of appearance and this fake spiritual feeling around tea. This is why I'm not too spiritual, and I am just think that spirituality must be not be shown. You know, it's something that you take by your own at home, and some there in the forest. Then you take my tea and my pottery and my water, and I sit on the coast and look on the sea, and this is my spirituality. But all the rest is not needed because it's someone else's spirituality. You don't need explanations of how you must keep your teapot or how you must think about the tea and explain it. You don't need explanations. It's tea. You just drink it. You understand it or not. You like it or not. It's an easy thing.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, of course. This is aesthetic, you know, and also for me it's sometimes a little bit complicated to express and to explain the same way my own view on tea, because I have a lot of different layers around. We have some business. I'm also tea lover. I'm traveling. We manufacture some, and at the same time we represent some tea culture site, and they make some pottery the same way. And it's all like structures that just flows in and out and all together and combine or separate, doesn't matter. But the main thing that I think that they just, how to say, we serve with instruments. The tea is an instrument. And what you do with that, it's up to you. And this is why I always say that we're not forcing you as a company, as I myself, also my philosophy, I never trying to explain what you must do with the tea. I only give you material. My goal is give a good tea for reasonable pricing and interesting pottery and some ambience around it. But what you will do with that, it's up to you. You can drink from a big cup in the kitchen in the morning with tap water, whatever, and just run away, or you can collect in pots for €1,000 and sitting on a coast and relax on it and meditate. It's also it's all working, you know. It's not broken. It's not opposite. It's a way. You can do it this way and what way. But for me, I can't drink tea and run. I always must stop. I stop on the way. Okay, it can be on a train or in a plane. Doesn't matter. Even in a car. We can stop on the road. I drive a little bit more faster after that, but I need my 30 minutes to drink and to look in the forest and
in action, not meditate and drink tea, but tea drinking as a form of meditation.
Yeah, it's depends, you know. It's someone. I really open, and I think that anyone who drink the tea, you find your own way how to consume it in the right way, and how you want to feel it, and how did you represent it in your philosophy and love life, lifestyle, and so on. So, yeah. But for me, the main thing what I want to say that a lot of people didn't recognize the profits and benefits of this way of consuming. Till they didn't organize some kind of space at home first, and after that to have some small, not box, but как сумка, bag for tea. I forgot words. Yeah, then bag for tea. Then you have all your pottery or your teaware already prepared to travel. You don't need to pack it. I have 3 different bags. Just take and run, and if I need it. So I don't need to spend the time for preparing. So I just take water, take some tea, and go out. And I always prepare tea only this way. Doesn't matter where I locate it. I never make it like cup or big teapot. Never ever. Only when I guest someone else and didn't have my own teaware with me. But yeah, And when I drink tea this way, it's completely different feeling. Especially this tea, you know, we feel it, yeah? It's something, we can drink only this tea and it's enough. But I just want to finalize this something that's keep you high till the morning, maybe.
Sergey, and I know there's also your book is coming out, right?
Yeah, in English. Yeah, it will be, but the most interesting book will be the second one, which will be 4 years later. But this autumn in September we'll print my geography of Chinese tea in English. Interesting that yeah, we have Russian edition of course, but English version have a little bit update different because there was a interesting science investigation, tea science research during the last 2 years about some benefits of some content of tea, and they just add 2 more pages in English version about tea science. It's interesting. Yeah, and this book, of course, is good base of knowledge for geography and for technology. And the second one will be it's called Chinese, not Chinese. It's called tea culture. I especially remove word Chinese because it's became international already. Even if I will publish book now with geography, I will call tea geography without Chinese because there's a lot words can be said about Japan and Georgia and other regions. We also tea presented, but why is we focus on China? China is some place where anything was born. Even Japanese tradition came from China. Taiwanese also before came from China, or of course Vietnam, Thailand, any other countries, India also. So this is the roots, and when we study and research the roots, we can go out abroad for more information. And what I like that now more and more farmers all around the world study technology, and they really start manufacturing a lot of very good quality teas in India. We will have some here, and also in Kenya, and also as we do in Georgia, and of course Taiwan, Japan. It's number one. So it's not only focused on China, but yeah, it's still the root.